I think a big thing that bothers me about the Martian adaptation is that Mark Watney in the book is a survivor. He's a freaking survivor. So many bad things happen and he survives them anyway. And Mark Watney in the movie goes through stitching himself up, happens in the book, not that eventful in my opinion. Plants exploding, plants dying, Hob unit, the airlock thing exploding, plants dead. Big deal, right? Give it that. And then starvation, which isn't as focused on in the book. In the book, it's just like, yeah, he has enough potatoes and it's fine. It doesn't focus on the fact that he's presumably getting thinner because he has to ration his food. So I think that's a cool thing that's shown in the movie that isn't really done in the book. But in the book, so many bad things happen that it makes me truly feel like he survived Mars, that Mars was trying to kill him, and that he survived anyway. In the movie, I didn't feel that. I didn't feel that. In the book, you have this situation where he accidentally places a wrench and a little bit of static electricity fries the whatchamacallit, and he can no longer he can no longer talk to NASA. That felt like such a big deal. It's like there was a point in the book where I was just like, man, I guess now with NASA's help, they just like kind of figure it out and everything goes okay. And then he just like loses contact with NASA. And then on the trip, which the movie just like had him get there, and that was it. In the book, he, of course, doesn't have contact with NASA in the first place while doing the trip, which immediately makes it more tense in the first place. And then he has the sandstorm, which you know about because you know NASA knows, but Mark Watney doesn't know. But he's able to like triangulate the power cells and be able to figure out which way the dust storm is heading, and so he can escape out of it. And then his rover like collapses is on its side, and that feels like a big deal. Like he has to like figure things out. He has to travel super slowly, all these things, and he makes it work. He makes it work, and he lives. And he lives. In the movie, I felt like he just kind of like ate potato. He had to figure out food. So he planted potatoes, and then that was like it. Like I really miss, and even the potatoes, it bothered me. In the book, it was like so intense. He was like, how exactly am I going to get all these potatoes? I need so much dirt room. I'm going to take out these pop tents and we're going to pop them out just to get more cubic feet of places to plant potatoes because I need to grow as many potatoes as possible. And the movie was just like, yep, I guess I'll just start planting potatoes. No biggie. And I just like, I felt, and so I think that was the main thing that I really missed from the Martian movie was all those events that made me truly feel like Mark beat the odds in using his intelligence and using his just like I don't know what other words to use. That he was able to overcome the odds and survive Mars. And in the movie, I just felt like he grew potatoes and then had to starve a bit and then he was rescued. And that was like his thing. Even the trip itself as well. Like the trip, he was cold. He's like, okay, can't really travel in this rover because it's cold. And so he has to go grab the radioactive thing that emits heat and he puts it in the back of his car. Two things from this. One is the trip itself. In the book, it really delved into how like being in this cramped space to sleep with his feces and his urine that he has to store in the back are like are really disgusting, right? And he has to sleep in this small and he has to carry, just like it was just really not fun and not good, and. And then in the movie, he just does it and he gets the thing. And then I mean, this one more minor. I don't really care that they skipped over this part. I don't care at all, really. But the whole like, oh, this heats so much that I actually have to remove insulation, right? There's so many more of these little things, and these little things I care a lot less about, like having to remove insulation. But like even the big thing of, man, traveling for like 20 days in a car, cramped in a small space, having to sleep in there, can't really, all that stuff that's like suffering, and Mark is able to overcome it. And in the movie, he just does it. He just does it. And then the gigantic journey, like I like how in the book he specifically made this tent area so that way he could walk around. And and have this additional space for himself, and that helped him get across and have this longer journey because the smaller journey was so difficult. And like, I don't know, you can skip over that part too, I guess, but just like, because I don't know, but I just really felt like, yeah, that was a big piece that I was missing from the movie, was just these bad things happening and Mark thinking through them and overcoming them. And there were other things, there were other minor things that bothered me about the adaptation, but these are less like minor notes. Like I didn't like how Commander was just like, yep, let's just blow up the airlock, and without doing any math first. I'm like, she would not do that. She would not just be like, okay, let's blow that up without doing any math. Like, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. And then, I mean, this is just okay. Now we're leaning into more just like certain preferences. Like additionally, I don't really think the commander. I guess they just wanted to give the commander more screen time so they could have the fun line, which was a fun line of Mark complaining about the disco music. That was a fun line when they were able to be reunited. Um, but didn't. I don't feel like I forget his name. The guy played by Sebastian Stan. He's the one trained to go out there. Like I don't know why the commander all of a sudden is just. I mean, obviously they're all trained in it, but he's like he's been practicing for it presumably, like in the 3 weeks that they've had to travel and stuff. All these things, and she's just like, nope, I'm doing it. And that just felt weird to me. Like I don't feel like that was very realistic, I guess. And then another, like even more. Okay, now we're diving truly into like, does this just bug me because it's different from the book? And I think the answer to that question is yes. Is so this isn't really even a criticism because I feel like the only reason why it bothers me is because it was different from the book. Is in the book the commander was very like adamant of like, you're not gonna cut you're not gonna cut the band thing leading back to the ship. You're not gonna cut that. You're gonna only use the road, right, et cetera, et cetera. She was very strict about that. And then it was Sebastian Stan's character that was talked to the other guy that was helping him out. Um, of but I think in the moment but they end up not needing to do that, having cutting it at all. But in the book, but in the movies, you're just like, I'm gonna need you to cut it, just like immediately. I don't know. So that was just a personal, just bothered me because it wasn't what I was expecting. I was expecting the commander to be a certain way, and she wasn't, and that's fine. Like that's fine. That's really not a critique, like I said. Okay, I got those main things off my chest. Um, that main core thing that bothered me about the Martian movie that I just felt like it was lacking. Like, and that's why I think watching the movie without reading the book first would have been way better as an experience because I I don't have those core things that I'm suddenly like feel like, man, it would be so much better if he had to go through these additional things because he I don't know, it just makes him such a survivor with all these additional problems that are going on and the tension that not having communication with NASA brings, and all those things that I missed in the movie. But if I didn't know that they existed, I would have been like, I probably would have been, perfectly fine with those scenes, right? Um, yep. I don't think I'm actually as worked out up about it. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I am. I was pretty disappointed when I was watching the movie. I was like, wow, we're really just gonna skip to him getting here. Like we're really just skipping on all that. I don't know. So maybe I am a little bit worked up on it. Anyway, okay.